All right, let's continue things here on this Saturday morning, guys. Sharing a cup this morning with a guy that I've known for at least 100 years.
Pretty much.
He has been a radio personality here in TNT for so many years. He looks like 20.
All right.
Jamie
All right.
Thomas.
All right. Tread lightly now. Tread lightly.
Jamie Thomas is at least 50.
I'm not 50. All right? I started young.
Yes.
Okay, I started somewhere in my very early teens.
Early teens.
Okay, let's just put it that way. You know what?
Jamie, you haven't aged a bit.
I keep hearing that.
You have not
You
aged
look the same.
a bit.
I'm trying to get that color. Trying to get it.
You're
but
forcing the color on.
I'm trying to get that color, but
Jamie Thomas is in the building, gentlemen, ladies, and I'm so happy that you're finally here. The show has been around, and I've been, just the timing is everything.
timing is always perfect with the Most High, so that's good.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Jamie, you have been involved in the radio business. Let's start with the radio business because you jumped on back in the party time days.
Party time.
And then there was a transition.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it was actually happening probably simultaneously. But first of all, thank you so much for having me.
No.
You know, I've always been a good brother. You see, we kind of resemble.
Yeah, can I resemble a little bit?
I got involved in, I guess, in party time around 16 years old.
16.
But my uncle, Percy Parker Williams,
Right.
he let me do my first radio ad when I was probably 11 years old, 12 years old, for DK's Petroleum Jelly, sorry, no plug, with aloe vera, with the grandpa and the grandson.
Right.
Chippy, you remember that rash you had on your behind kind of thing? Kind of embarrassing, but I was the young guy in that. And it kind of sparked, I guess, an interest in radio.
For you personally?
Yeah, so when I was in Belmont Secondary, I got a little tape recorder. And I would go around the school and I started to record all that would happen in school. And I asked the principal, could I play this back at the end of the day as the Belmont Grapevine? Having no idea I would have gotten involved in media or radio, really, because I like performing. But people who know me from school said we always knew that you would get involved in media. And that was the beginning of that. So party time kind of happened simultaneously with radio. And then around that time, they came to my school and did, back in the day, Daniel DeFontala and Kerry and with their television company, and they covered our Star Class project. And I started to work with them after they did that little freelance in television. So all of those things took place around the age of 16 years old and just blossomed into whatever it is. Yeah.
I mean, many people may not know this, but of course, Jamie is now known for a gospel radio and has been on the forefront of gospel radio here in TNT. But if you go back to 98.9, and those younger viewers may not know what I'm speaking of, because Jamie is 50 and I am about 49. but 98.9, when that radio station popped on the airwaves, it was an urban radio, one of the first urban radio stations that popped on.
Correct.
And Jamie was the first person that brought gospel to mainstream urban radio.
Correct.
That was like, I don't think you would have known how revolutionary that would have been back then.
No, not really. I mean, I always give kudos to Margaret Elcock because that's where I would have started Christian radio.
Right.
But that was actually 98.9 it was kind of like in the middle there. So I got an opportunity with Tony Lee, still working with this man after half of my life. Louis Leasing at that time launched 98.9 radio. That's where O'Brien and all of
the big names would have started right there.
So they hired me to do main radio, not to do gospel. But at that time, I was fresh in the Christianity. And I was just kind of warring between what should I do. This is a dream. Back in the day, getting on radio was epic, right? Yeah. And so they brought me on, and within 2 weeks, I told Tony Lee, I just want to do Sunday mornings. And he said, you're not going to reach too far with Sunday mornings. I said, it's okay, just give me Sunday mornings. And at that time, we started Positive Vibes. So I started to source music that was more urban, which is like at that time groups like Gospel Gangsters and A1 Swift and Kirk Franklin in the early days. and EDM, what it would have been back in the day, and started to pump that because I wanted the show to kind of fit into the format. And that's where basically more of that urban sound of what gospel is commission came from.
But back then, Jamie, the gospel music, because I know now, I mean, it's almost a force to be reckoned with in terms of the genre of music. Oh, yeah. But back then, take me back then to when, okay, so you, as I said, you were in Christianity and you wanted to do radio. Was gospel music a thing then? Because yeah?
No. I mean, what was a thing around then would have been, as I said, you know, Helen Baylor. She had stuff running on TV.
Okay.
You had BB and CC Winans, so you had more of that. So gospel in that genre, when you would go to a concert, it was pretty big, but it was praise and worship alone.
Right.
When I started, what helped fuel, I guess, that movement was after coming out of party time and developing a relationship with the folks at Upper Level Club, I went back to them and I said, do you mind if I rent here or use here? I don't have much money, I don't have no money to do these events. And I started to do something called the Vibe at that time. So you had the radio show, but then we started to debut people at that time, like Sherwin Gardner in his very early young stage, and a lot of more of those younger artists. And Nigel Sawyer, when he left the group, his big group, and that started to develop. But it was nothing like what it is now, you know?
I know you won't want to pat yourself on the back, but you were a trailblazer back in those days, somewhat, Jimmy. I mean, there was no one I would think that would have taken gospel music as it was then, as you said, traditional gospel music, and had to take it to try to make urban radio.
Well, you get it from somebody. So I went to the Bahamas to a youth conference. And when I went there, Dr. Miles Monroe, they were crazy.
Serious? In the Bahamas at the time?
What? So when I went, I was like, wow, you could do this? They were doing Christian boat cruises at the conference. They were having a lot of the acts that I brought back. Their music, they were there. Reggae, like Christian Massive, Kent, and a lot of the reggae artists that really affected the Caribbean came out to the Bahamas, Monty G, etc. So, I mean, at that time, you didn't call it trailblazing. You called it a lot of licks. You could probably call it them, because it was like, what is this? Until people saw that it was just as positive.
And a lot of licks from the Christian community.
At that time, because remember, this was kind of new. Joshua Generation is what Zero Defect became. So we were the first kind of Christian hip-hop dance group. But we had people at that time.
That alone is so much oxymoron in that. At that point in time.
That was like, you know,
what you said?
So we appeared at this big show called Glory Glory, Jermaine Mitchell and Peter Regis, and these people were there. But they kind of helped us, but they kind of brought us in. So, you know, I'm thankful for what I've been able to see happen, because so many younger people, and I guess that is where it is now. It's embraced by a lot of people of all different ages. As you know, 107 is in the top 2 stations of the country, so that has to be more than just a youth demographic, which we know. When we have our events, it's people of all ages. So I'm glad they've now embraced the Blessed Messenger, the Jaron Nurse, the Positive, who are really the younger generation, but they still have a solid message that's positive and so forth. So it's good. It's good to see where it has come from.
And I'll call you a trailblazer, because I think no one back then, JB, would have, as I said, you would have seen it develop, see it grow, see it change in terms of what you're supposed to, when you had the crazy ideas in your head, and to see the younger people of today now just take it and run with it.
That's good. We got to keep it going.
So. I mean, people within the industry tell me, you know, I mean, Jamie's daddy in the business.
Give God thanks. You know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful because
we're going to talk about the positive messages that you would have said led over the years. But I said you've done positive radio, and you continue to do positive radio on Word 107.1. But Jimmy is not just here to talk positive messages. That's what we do here on a Cup of Joe. We like positive messages.
I like that.
But we also like to bubble a pot ever so often. And you're here to roll out a recipe with me, Jamie.
I'm looking forward to that.
So when I told Jamie, come and cook with me, he said, Joel, I can't cook. I said, that's why I want you in the kitchen with me.
Yeah, man.
Jamie Thomas, for Word 107.1, and we are rolling out a recipe next. You like curry?
Of Who's Trini and don't like curry though?
You like tomato sauce?
Who doesn't like tomato sauce?
Curry tomato sauce. Boom. Badam.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah! When we come back, we roll out a recipe next, right here from TriniCooks.com. This is Copper Joe. Come on back, TNT.